Hello Taurus, let's try this again. I was starting on your reading and then went whoopsie, it stopped. And I think it's because a notification came up. Anyways, let's get into your reading. You have the Chariot in reverse. So I feel like there's either in the month of October in your relationships, you're physically moving, there's a direction you're going towards. Maybe you're slowly coming into this place of understanding what it is you want to be doing, and you're finalizing something in the month of October. Now, coming into your relationship, you have the Ace of Pentacles, and the other person has the Page of Pentacles. So, kind of mirroring the energies. What I was getting onto saying was I feel like a lot of Taurus, I don't know where that came from. Taurus have been going through a lot of issues concerning relationships, and I don't think it's bad. I don't take it lightly, but I think a lot of it has to do with you're not getting the response you want from a significant other, whether it's friends, whether it's coworkers, whether it's people in general. And I feel like you're having a really hard time when it comes to your value. And, if you know any Taurus out of, I don't know why I'm saying Taurus. You need to be victorious. That's a sign, I guess. I feel like, because I've been in there like a lot of times where I'm not being heard, I'm not being accepted by people. I feel like people aren't really, maybe you feel taken advantage of in some way. But I feel like the truth of the matter here, Taurus, is, when these are showing up on both terms, I feel like it's it could be a psychological issue. It could be, inside the relationship where you're feeling you're not being valued, you're not being heard. It could be a multitude of things. Maybe you're being heard in your, you know, committed relationships with a significant partner, but maybe when it comes to your friends, you're not really being heard. And I feel like that's a struggle. I do see you guys struggling with that here lately, where you're in some way trying to put yourself out there. Maybe you're trying to look your best, present yourself so that the world can see that everything's okay with Taurus on the outside, but internally you're unfulfilled in some dynamic when it comes to, getting your wish fulfilled, when it comes to getting everything you want in the relationship, wherever that lays in your storyline. Um, which is very hard. It's very hard to sit back and put yourself out there and, put in time, work, and feel like you're not being valued in some way. So I'm right there with you, Taurus. But I think the struggle, not so much not being heard, not being valued, I think it's about being in the moment. When we're not in the moment and we're always wanting validation from people, or in some way we want success to come to us or good things to come to us, and it just seems like the more we do the work, or the more we do like the introspect, like look at the details of things and the facts, and it's like I'm putting myself out there, why am I not getting the result? And I think there's a reason for that, is not staying in the present moment. Now I feel like ultimately Taurus are really good about, you know I guess seeing things for what they are, but at the same time, maybe that's reflecting on, you know, I mean, it depends on each Taurus, but the one thing that I've noticed about Taurus is uh, here lately, it just seems like there's been a big act on them. Like, it's a big show. I'm not saying all Taurus are like that. There are some that are really at that level of understanding how the law of the universe works. But I feel like for the very few who I feel like I'm resonating with their energy, they're putting this facade on that everything's okay on the surface of things, but internally there's this torment going on. And I think a lot of that has to do with, being unfulfilled, whether it's in friendships, relationships, and not getting everything you need and want. And the best thing you can do, Taurus, in this situation that I've personally learned in my life is just stop trying. You don't have to try hard. And I think I've personally gone through that recently. Is like I was trying to present myself to look good, smell good, mainly for my boyfriend, because there was a lot of insecurities that I was personally going through. And I think a lot of it was past related. Like I felt like I was in, like, not good enough, or I was telling myself all these lies about myself that weren't true, because I experienced things in the past that I felt shitty as a person, and I felt like, you know why is this happening, and do I have to try hard because something's off kiltered in our relationship. So one thing that's helped me is stop trying, just give up. Not like internally just give up on life, but like give up the idea that you're going to get the validation. Give up the facade that, I have to try so hard to excel, when you just need to be in the moment. And that's probably really hard. Really hard, because Taurus, they're builders. They want to create something, but at the same time, in my understanding of Taurus, they can get in this mentality that they want to help people. They want to be of service to people. They want to get in, and try to conquer something. But at the same time, they're not reflecting on their inner world as much as staying in the present and focusing on, I'm Taurus. And it's really funny because it's like an example. Like a magnet, if you think of the concept of a magnet doesn't have to do anything. Yes, there needs another magnet to magnetize the other magnet, if that makes sense. But like Taurus are really good about attracting things. And like the way they go about, they're earth signs. So things naturally come to you. I just think the fault in Taurus, I'm just being real. I'm not trying to be hurtful in any way, but I notice this time and time again. The more you exert yourself, overdo yourself, when there's really no need for that, just stay present. And I feel like once you guys learn that, you'll realize, I'm a magnet. I don't need to put myself out there per se for people to be attracted to me, whether it's finding new love. You just have to be in the moment. You just have to be Taurus and just be you. And I feel like a lot of society teaches us we have to be a certain standard or a certain level. And I think a lot of it, social media, Instagram, really ruins us as people. Is we always feel like we have to perfect our money, which you guys, it's a material world, so you understand the material world more than anyone. And I feel like the trap you can get, you just got to be present. You've got to stop over exhausting yourself, because I feel like when a Taurus is over exhausted and they work till they're blue in the face, they will not stop working, it's gonna run you down. I mean, yes, you don't like to be fenced in, and you don't want to see a Taurus fenced in, but at the same time, just give up a little bit to the fact and the idea that you don't have to push it too much. Just calmly reflect that, things naturally come to me. I don't have to force it, whether it's love, whether it's a relationship, whether it's money. It naturally comes to you. When you're in that mindset and you change your perspective, it comes to you. So I think the other person is kind of mirroring you, Taurus, where they're learning the same example. That I can't move forward when I'm in this state of mind frame trying to push it. And I think the other person is trying to teach you the same lesson, or you're both going through it in some form or dynamic, that you need to slow down. And I think in the month of October, you know, it's time to reflect, go within, and really stay in the present. Stop overexerting yourself and breathe and relax and calm. So I wish you guys the best with that in your relationships, because I feel like naturally things will come to you. It's just a matter of just staying present, staying focused on, you know, your goals, your passion. You guys have so much potential. You know, you've got Uranus in retrograde for the next 7 years. You know, there's a lot of upheaval and a lot of changes for you guys, but you have true potential once you realize, you know, that I don't have to force things. I'm the Taurus. Things naturally magnetic towards me. So why am I trying so hard when I'm a magnet? You know, you're literally a magnet. So things will come to you when they're ready. It's just a matter of waiting. And I think that's hard for Taurus because they just want to get out there. They want to get the cash, the fast relationship. But I think whenever it's ready, it's ready. It's just about waiting it out. But you guys are pretty patient people, so I don't think that's a problem. I think it's just here lately, I think Taurus has been rushing to get something, or, you know, wants to project onto everybody else that, you know, they have to take them serious. Just be you. If people don't like you, then that's on them. You know, people aren't making the effort, that's on them. Maybe that's what it is. Your value isn't, you know, someone telling you, you know, that color's off, or your hair's weird or something, or saying, you know, Taurus, you're doing it wrong. I was like, I think it's about, you know, we don't want to hurt anybody in the process. And I think a lot of Taurus are going through this is we care too much what people think, kind of like Cancers. But I think it's just, which I don't think that's a problem for Taurus. They just do things what they feel is best. But a lot of people have been mad at them lately. So I feel like, you know, you just gotta be you. Don't force it. Alright, so more about what's going on within your relationship, Taurus. Alright, so I feel like there's reflection going on for the month of October. A lot of introspection. A lot of, you know, trying to recalibrate. I think I said the right word. Recalibrate. Let down the guards, I feel like. I think a lot of you, you're trying to, you don't want to get hurt. I think that's important. So do the best you can with that. But also, too, I think you're grieving about something in the past, possibly, or something that's not panning out. I think the best thing you can do in this situation is just continue persevering. You know, try to maneuver through this painful experience, whatever that may be. But I think a lot of it has to do with maybe you fear the worst when there's really nothing to be fearful of. It's easy to get in a cycle where, you know, we don't think something's going to work out and start panicking. But I think when it comes to giving and receiving in relationships, there's something that you need to cut out. Whether it's something in your personal life that's affecting your resources, whether it's not being committed to something, which, I don't know, I think a lot of Taurus are very committed people. I think it depends on where your other placements are, like what's your moon sign, what's your rising. So I feel like you have a strong foundation in your relationships, like whether it's your one-on-one relationships. You're trying to manifest what you can do with your resources, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot you need to cut out. Like maybe even working a 9-to-5 job, and it's not going as fast as you want it to in some way, and it's not really maybe solid. So there may be something you need to reflect on your finances. You may have to get a second job if your finances aren't really working out. or ask for help. I know a lot of Taurus have been asking a lot of people's help because they themselves can't do it on their own. They really need people to step up and really help them. So that may be a thing you need to do, even though it's probably the hardest thing to do. But to reach your full potential, Taurus, I think you really need to ask help to get what you want. Whether it's, having a roommate with you, whether it's having some extra person that you can work with or collaborate maybe or create something to be able to better sufficient yourself, and maybe if you have a family, your family, because I feel like you doing it on your own, or if it's another person doing it on their own, it's not going to go well. And I feel like you're trying to create something in your life. You guys are the builder of the zodiac, so you're trying to build and create something that is a solid foundation. But when it comes to your giving and receiving, when it comes to the exchange of your wealth, something's not panning out. Maybe something's not adding up with your finances, and something needs to go when it comes to measuring up to a stable, solid foundation so you can create more in your life. Maybe you want to do more of a passion project, but you don't have the finances to do all of that because you're doing it alone. So I suggest you need to cut something out if it has to involve your resources so you can better maneuver to create a better, stable, solid relationship, or maybe a passion project you're trying to work on. Because I feel like once you collaborate with people, things can open up. Doors can open up. But I also feel like that's when you have to make up a choice on what you want to do. Maybe it's deciding on, do you want to work within your immediate relationship, like the one-on-one relationship, or, ask friends to help you so you can, be able to plan ahead on what you really want to do. Now there is, with the Page of Cups, I feel like there is new opportunities for you, Taurus, whatever that may look like to you. But I feel like you have to make up your mind on a decision when it comes to your resources to work with, your immediate one-on-one relationships or collaboration, because I feel like, there's really no wrong or right way to do things. It's just what will get you closer to your goals, your ambitions, what will get you to the next thing that you've been really working on. And I feel like a lot of you've been trying a lot of different things when it comes to your passions, but I feel like there could be a misingredient when it comes to what is your full, what is your full passion? What sets your soul on fire? Not what, sounds good, but like I feel like once you get a hold of what really sets your soul on fire, whether it's painting, whether it's photography, whether it's some type of day job, volunteer work. I don't know why I was thinking nursing home. I don't know, volunteer work or something. I just feel like you need to get involved, because I feel like either direction, but there has to be something that needs to be cut off. Whether it's, cut the friendships off, cut the certain things that aren't really helping you move forward, or there might be something you're not seeing clearly when it comes to your finances that need to be cut out to make things more sufficient and flow, because you want things flowing. When they come to your finances, you want those flowing. And I feel like if we block ourselves in somehow when it comes to what's important, like I'm not saying, like, for some of you who do smoke or whatever, or use drugs of some kind, or use something, maybe it's medication, you're spending way too much money on medication, on something, on your health, which, if you got to take medication, take medication. But I feel like if there's not a necessity of those things, whether it's doctor bills, doctor payments, there might be, you need to upgrade on your education on how to take care of yourself more natural. And you guys are really good about that. I just think a lot of bills can come up out of nowhere, and I just feel like if that's a problem within your relationship dynamics, I feel like, the best way to cut it into, to figure out what is less expensive when it comes to bills, when it comes to things that I don't really need but I want, because it's all about your needs versus your wants. Do you really need that? Is it really helping you? Or is there something I can do to tweak it up a little bit to make it less expensive and less cost? Like let's say you have, I know some of you have health problems. So I feel like the best way you can cut that bill in half is go alternative to more natural things. Like one thing I recently ordered, and it's like, I feel like in the long run it's going to help me, is CBD oil. If you have anxiety or you have some type of illness that's not going away, the best way you can do to cut a bill in half is, instead of paying thousands and thousands of dollars on doctor bills just for anxiety or something that you really need, like blood thinners, because I know my grandfather, he's a Taurus. It's expensive these days, especially if you don't have good coverage. It's expensive to pay all these bills. So I feel like alternatively, what could cut the bill in half is try to find, and it may take research on these things to really get a handle on your bills that come up, like doctor bills, is to figure out more healthier alternatives. If it is, I was thinking pancreatic cancer, or just something that's very, very hard to go without, like blood thinners. There could be, if you do your research, I'm sure there could be something that could help, your situation. But like I said, if you need those medicines, still keep getting them. But if there's something you can alternatively cut the price on, it saves you a lot of money, especially if it's like CBD oil for anxiety. Like if you have really bad, like you're like me, hypersensitive, and you need something to calm you down that day. To me, like for me, it didn't cost a lot on CBD oil. Like I think the most I paid for it, if I'm not correct, I'm not sure on I think $10. Other places are expensive with it. Not unless you get like the high quality CBD oil, it might cost a lot more. But I'm just saying, like, giving you ideas of what could cost less of your expensive. It could be food issues, like you don't get a lot of food. Maybe you have food stamps and it doesn't cover. Grow a garden. Do something more proactive that can actually, make your costs go down on things, whether it's gas. If you have a vehicle that is a gas hog, you might need to turn it in and get something more cheaper, like one of those. I wouldn't mind getting one of them, but I don't know if you have a family or not. But like one of those vehicles, those like mopeds. Like if it's just you and your partner, get a moped, and it literally saves you hundreds of dollars. If you're just going one place at a time, it saves a lot of money. So there may need to be a lot of tweaking going on this month of October. I'm sorry I spent so much time on just prescription talking my head off about that, but yeah, that's what wanted to come up. And so moving forward at the end of the month, like I said, there's choices concerning family that you may have to look at. Those of you who have a family, you have kids, you have resources, that you're going to have to juggle, especially when it comes to children. So you can get a better result of victory in a situation, because I feel like a lot of you have been, struggling, whether it's financially, whether it's not seeing the value of a situation, or if you, I know one Taurus, his girlfriend's pregnant. I'm really good friends with him, but he doesn't really talk much, which is fine. It's okay. He's been like, I feel like he's not really taking it serious, and it's going to bite him in the butt, because if he doesn't start, really investing in his, future child's life, he's not going to be in much of his life. And it's like, hate to say that, but it's like, if you're in one of those situations where you're just buying time and doing what you want, and you've got people involved, that's serious doo-doo. I mean, make time for yourself, but like when you become a parent, your life changes. So it's like, I don't know. I really feel like there's a lot of tweaking going on this month in your relationships, Taurus. I just think you need to start taking it serious, especially when it comes to family, and if you got a kid on the way, or kids in general, maybe your kids need your attention this month. They need to be shown in such a way that you are serious about, taking care of them or loving them, or maybe you need to write a note to them, you know. Some of you don't have all your kids with you. Maybe you need to spend time with them more if that's been neglected in some way. Anyways, I hope that resonates with one of you. Bye-bye.